Well, how is it going, everybody? Welcome to episode 51 of the Paws Up podcast. My goodness, guys, it's been a long time since episode 50. We took a pretty long, extensive break. Of course, we were still busy covering FIU basketball and now baseball. Johnny himself got a trip to Dallas and had a chance to cover a bit of swimming, which I guess we'll talk about in a sec, but. Fellas, it's great to be back on the podcast talking about some FIU athletics. So I'm Jay Gibson alongside my friends and co-hosts Kevin Barral and Jonathan Mayer. Fellas, it's great to be back. And I guess let's start with the elephant in the room, Jonathan Mayer's hat. Johnny, what does that hat say?
Says the American champions because the swimming and diving team won the American Conference on
How
Sunday.
about that?
The hat is pretty cool, actually.
It's a great hat, like on the side.
Yeah, it's a cool.
Swimming and
I know,
diving.
it's like a trucker hat. You know, trucker hats are legit.
I don't know about trucker hat, but
Well, it's
I'm
like
not a big fan, look, I'll be honest with you. I'm not a big fan of trucker hats, but there are a couple that are good. And
yeah. So-
Panther Power had a good giveaway of those.
Yeah.
That were useful last year.
So that this all happened only a few days ago in Dallas for the AAC championships, right? And this is how many conference titles does FIU swimming and diving have now?
So this would be if you're looking at it with Randy Horner taking over.
Okay.
Since Conference USA, he won in the Sun Belt, but in Conference USA, he won 8 straight in Conference USA.
Mhm.
Last year, obviously, they came up short, but they won this year. So overall, that is 9 conference trophies in the past 10 years for swimming and diving. This one was a domination. They were in first place all 4 days. They took control, took care of business, and really, after what happened last year and so close to winning it this year, they proved their worth, took care of business, and they had a great 4 days in Dallas.
I will say it's very impressive that a program like FIU Swimming can leave Conference USA, join the American, and pretty much not even skip a beat.
Mhm.
Now back to earning some hardware. So Johnny, talk to us a bit about it. Like who were some of the most valuable swimmers and divers, and just how did it all play out?
Yeah, I mean, for the Panthers, they were able to dominate on day one. They swept the podium or got swept gold the first day with a couple of relays, and then on the 1 meter with Paige Burrell, who Paige really had a good performance, was able to get gold. She broke a meet record in the 1 meter that she scored in preliminaries. She had a great performance. She also was able to secure a bronze in the 3 meter, or sorry, Hold up. There was a lot going on. Let me confirm.
Okay, yeah. Take a breather, Johnny.
Let me confirm.
You were there for all of it. You were recording so much stuff, and you know, it was broadcasted on ESPN Plus, so we got to see it. And of course, there was Jonathan Mayer in the spotlight.
Yeah, I was.
You have
there.
a video of it? You have the video?
I'm pulling it up I'm pulling up some videos on my end now, but
Dude,
Jonathan Mayer.
I'll say this.
You weren't interviewed, right, Johnny? You were not interviewed.
I was not interviewed, no. But a funny story is I was Coach Wooden's wife, Natalie. She was doing the sideline reporting, and I was helping her out with all the nuggets and stuff. But yeah, I was definitely on the scene all days. Definitely at the podium because it was very busy there for the Panthers and the domination they had.
So
this is
that it's super fun. Again, congratulations to the swimming and diving team. I saw that the celebrations afterward were very fun, very entertaining. It's cool.
He messed it up. He did not jump in the pool.
Okay. A backstory was
I don't care about photos. You didn't jump in the pool.
I talked to Coach Horner before earlier in the day. He's like, "Hey, by the way, make sure to bring a change of clothes because we want you to jump in the pool with us." And I'm like, "Sure." So I bring a change of clothes. I'm all prepared to go. Then once I find out that like it happens in an instant, I then begin. I'm like, you know what? I think it's better if I get the content, enjoy the moment, because if let's say I jump in the pool, I'm wet. I have to get stuff out to show this moment. You know what? I regret it. I felt like I missed out on jumping.
You missed out. You would have been on camera on ESPN Plus.
But you know what? The what we got out of it was great. The coaches did I don't know if you saw, had a great belly flop. Shout out Coach Josh Lark on the diving coach, had a great belly flop. Shout out Scott Carr, Julie Berg. There we go. Scott Carr getting the action.
That was amazing.
I'm so disappointed in you, man. You did not jump in.
Don't
Bro.
worry.
Okay, hang on.
There's always next.
I'm pulling up another video on my end, but well, in the meantime, then what was again? Who were some of the biggest playmakers for FIU swimming and diving that made this happen?
Yeah, so I was discussing it. Paige Burrell set a 1 meter record in the 1 meter record for the conference or in the championship meet. She also secured bronze in the platforms, which is really, really impressive. And then on the swimming side, FIU did everything. Overall total, they had 7 golds, and 5 of those golds were given out to Hui, the senior swimmer who was dominating, won 3 individual golds, couple on the relay. She was named the most outstanding swimmer of the meet. She broke a program record at FIU. She then also broke a championship meet in the 200 breast. So she dominated all 4 days and had a great showing. Shout out Nikki Frank as well. Had some good performances with a couple of bronze performances and some gold on the relay. But yeah, everyone really chipped in and did their job. I think the way they were able to consistently have a lot of swimmers in the finals was really, really good. Added a lot of points for the team, and they didn't lose sight of their goal for what they call a quest for one, which they were able to secure. But yeah, I mean, from day 1 to day 4, they did their thing, and they just took care of business. And really, congratulations to all of them for the hard work they brought.
Dude,
one more time.
Here's for the athletic director, Scott Carr. He's doing his jump.
Nice.
Yeah.
There he goes. Got to get everybody in on the act. Congratulations to FIU, the Florida International Panthers 2024 American Athletic Conference Swimming and Diving Championships.
And how special to have the...
Dude, that girl jumped in with her phone.
Well, I was talking to her. It was she had a waterproof phone.
Yeah,
who was the man in the beginning that I think you mentioned belly flopped into the pool?
That was the diving coach.
Oh, okay. So you really didn't dive into the pool, Johnny?
Well, we were not allowed to dive. It was only from the side edge. So yeah, I mean, what?
I don't think anyone would have given a crap had you had done that, Johnny.
I mean, yeah, but it would have been fun.
Well, if you knew ahead of time that you could, would you have done it?
I knew ahead of time because I brought a change of clothes, and Coach wanted me to do it really badly. But in the moment, I'm like, you know what? It'll be fun to do it, but in the moment, I'm gonna have a lot of content that I'm wet. I have to get stuff out, and yeah. So it is what it is.
So now that they have another conference championship under their belt, obviously that must mean they got to now compete in the nationals. So when will that take place, Johnny?
Yeah, so that's going to come up soon. It'll be March 17th through. I need to confirm. I think it's going to be March 20th to 23rd. And they'll announce who will be competing next week from the swimming side. And most likely Christy Chewy will compete for the 3rd straight year. I'm in Knoxville, Tennessee, so that will be exciting for her. Hopefully to break another program record, which she definitely can do. So yeah, she'll be on the national stage. Then they also have the CACAA, the National Invitational, which is basically the NIT for swimming. So 12 of the swimmers will go out there to compete, and they've had great performances there in that championships, and that's going to be March 14th to the 16th. Around that time period. But yeah, so really they won a championship, but there's a lot more in store, especially with, Olympic season coming up and, some of the ladies
for
that. So yeah, it's postseason, but a lot of work still, to be done. But overall, they were able to secure that big conference championship.
Yeah, they've turned into a dynasty. I think that's the easiest way to put it. FIU Swim and Dive is probably the best program on campus right now.
With men's soccer too.
If you want to look at basic hardware, especially like a full decade worth of hardware, I don't think there's any contest, man. Like what the swimming and diving program has done, regardless of Conference USA or now the AAC. I mean, it's insane. It's lights out. They've been able to.
Lights out! Lights out!
Not the best use there.
On the topic of coaches, wasn't Randy Horner also named like the AAC
Coach of the Year?
Yeah.
And Josh Larkham was diving Coach of the Year. I forgot to.
Well, I mean,
Oh,
if they wouldn't have won that award, then Jesus.
Yeah, but no, they were. Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
but anyways, yeah.
all right. So yeah. Good on swimming.
I think. Sorry to cut you off, Jake. Podcast guest Nikki Frank. I did think she got a couple of golds, right, Johnny?
Yep, she had a couple of goals as well.
There we go.
Yeah.
Got to give her the shout out. She was
That's
on the
that Paws Up podcast luck, when these athletes they have big games after or big events after they show up on this show. That's what I've been told. So, alrighty then. So that was fun talking a bit about swimming and diving. Who knows? Maybe we'll need to talk to one of the swimmers and or divers soon, man. Just talking about that trip to Dallas. I mean, what else did you guys do in Dallas aside from just the events? Was it just like a fun week there? Just
I asked him
whatever.
already. It's a back and forth.
Which is work. Prelims in the morning, finals at night. Sleeping and getting rest and recovery in the afternoon. Like it was a business trip, and they were able to win. So yeah, we were able to explore a little bit. I know some of the divers were able to see a little sights of Dallas, but no, it was a trip to handle business, and they did that. So yeah,
You were able to hold the trophy, right?
I was able to hold the trophy. Yes.
If you follow Johnny on Twitter, you'll be able to see that.
Nice picture with it. Yeah, I had to get a picture.
I do need to ask you this: whose idea was it to do the trophy in the bed?
That was
there we go. Good.
Hey, let's
I was like, what? Like I had an idea stored for like weeks. I'm like, you know what? If we win, I'm gonna go take. By the way, I brought it to my room. It stayed with me overnight. The trophy, so it was on the little table in the room. So yeah, but yeah, I had the idea.
You should have slept with it, bro. You should have held it.
I'm like, let's put it in the bed and show like, hey, we had a good night. We won. So
All right, we've gone on 12 minutes talking about swim and dive. I think we can move on.
Dude, we've done whole episodes with a swimmer and a
That's
coach.
different because we're asking. They're the ones talking.
All right, whatever. But okay, so
Our about
you
team is
said,
about to be
like
ranked
mid-March they'll compete for the Natty.
you never know. You never know. But first, we have to have people qualify, and then we'll see where it goes from there.
Alrighty, fellas, do we want to stay positive or do we want to get frustrated?
Let's talk about baseball. I think.
Yeah, let's stay positive here. Let's talk a bit about the 2024 FIU baseball season. Why don't we? They're 5-3 at the moment. Okay, they're 5-2 at home. Their only losses come from a neutral site, or not even neutral site, a midweek road contest in Daytona against Bethune-Cookman. Aside from that, they split a series with Notre Dame, a really big school, a really big athletics program. Notre Dame's baseball team has been all right for a while. However, still, Friday and Sunday did not turn out to be great days for FIU, but that Saturday doubleheader turned out to be amazing, right? And now they're getting ready to take on Seton Hall this weekend in a 4-game series, going from Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. As Kevin, the pressure got to him, and he had to back out for a sec.
I pressed the wrong button.
You pressed the wrong button?
Yeah.
I thought the pressure just got you. I was about to ask you about the power that Brylan West and Ryan Guida bring to this batting rotation for FIU, and you just dipped, bro. You couldn't handle the question.
You mentioned Brylan and Guida and Ryan, but we got to talk about Keyshawn Fred. I mean, 4 home runs in the span of that 4-game series. I know Ryan had, I believe, 1 as well. Real good. Johnny, you're muted.
I said he had 2 home runs in that.
Even
Saturday.
better, he had 2 home runs. Keyshawn's already up to an over 1,000 OPS. So is Ryan. I do believe Brylan may have struggled a little bit. Again, I didn't watch this series. I was up in Jupiter enjoying the vibes, but Brylan a little struggle there. But he may have gotten a couple.
I wouldn't say a struggle, just like just.
Well, what do you do?
We look at the numbers right now for Brian Lewis. Obviously, he had a great start. He was, I think it was 13 for 16 to begin the season.
Yeah.
But to look more at Brylan West, how he did against Notre Dame, to confirm, he did have a hit in the past 3 games to finish off. So
I love Brylan, but that's not very good, Johnny.
No, but in addition,
That hit was a 2-run RBI. Oh, by the way. So
Oh, was it? Oh, well, now we're talking a little different, but still.
that was on, I believe, the first game on Saturday. Was that two-run RBI?
A lot of props to the pitching again. I know you were talking about power, but although the pitching is still not very good in terms of just statistically and amongst the conference, Owen Puck, good for him. He had a great start. Only 1 run, 2 strikeouts, 2 innings again. He's on a pitch limit, but still good to see the progression going on there. Hey, his brother AJ Puck had a real nice start the other day in Port St. Lucie. But anyways, Joel Pinheiro pitched in that second game, went 5 shutout innings, didn't allow a single hit, struck out 6. But still, just like this whole pitching staff, walks are still an issue. He walked 3. And then the next day, Cam Knox, Cameron Knox, he's a reliever. He went 3 shutout innings, didn't allow a hit. He struck out 5. So good stuff from him.
That was his best performance and first career start as a Panther, and was really, really good to see that from him. But no, I was going to say, though, about just overall was I think what makes you excited about the team is how competitive they were, especially in that doubleheader sweep, the Fighting Irish. And look, if you saw Sunday's game, FIU was down 3-0 in the ninth. Keishan hit a home run. And the bases were loaded with
the
one.
bases were loaded. There was 1 out. Unfortunately, I believe West struck out and
LaCorey flied out.
Yeah, it was a fly out, and unfortunate because that would have been a walk-off winner to win the series against Notre Dame would have been something special, man. But
but I was going to say though, like really, what I took away from seeing the box score and how the games went is how lethal this lineup is, and especially when you added Keyshawn Fred. And Keyshawn was had a quiet opening series against Long Island, but
he was a ghost, brother.
Yeah,
he was a ghost.
But everyone around him was able to step up,
Exactly.
West, Corey. But now you add Fred, who he had a home run in all 4 games. You have him. You have Guida right up next to him. You have LaCorey, Brylan West. I feel like I'm missing somebody.
Becerra.
Marto Becerra had a great stretch, but like all those guys, that's like a 5 guys that you're actually if you're an opposing team, you're scared about them because they can really hit the ball. So I think that took away was how much power this team has and how legit that this offense is, because FIU has a lot of great pieces that have a lot of power over the field.
Through the first 8 games, FIU is now second in home runs.
Yeah,
they're just trailing the number 25 ranked Dallas Baptist.
And that team is really, really good.
That team is really, really good. And, we won't track too much, but series winning here for FIU, you may have to start talking. They're going to get ranked real soon. I mean, if you sweep Seton Hall, which is no joke of a team, they're really, really good. They were really good last year. They were amazing in the conference, and they already got off to a great start. They almost beat Iowa, and they beat Michigan State, and they put up some really good games after that. FIU sweeps Seton Hall, which I believe they're able to because their pitching has been a little disappointing.
A little suspect.
Yeah, they sweep Seton Hall. They may be top 25 team right now, and it's not even close. I mean, a really good team last year. I don't know how much that helps out for the RPI, Johnny, but I know that Notre Dame series must have been done wonders for FIU.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of helped them see, okay, we have something here. I think a lot what happened was a lot of people didn't know about FIU just from standpoint, a lot of additions, a lot of JUCO additions to the roster. Brian West, Keyshawn Fred, Armando Becerra, or Jeff LaCorey from D2 schools. And people were like, we don't know about these guys. And now you see after, especially this weekend, you're like, okay, this team is something. And I think people are starting to realize slowly, if they can split against a Power 5 school like Notre Dame, this team can really make wonders. And I think it's going to be a great, great school and is going to really be really competitive in Conference USA compared to last year for FIU.
I don't know about you guys. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Kevin.
No, go ahead. I was going to say that the road just doesn't get any easier for this team. Seton Hall, you just lost to Bethune. You're going to face some. Thankfully, it's at home, which we were talking to one of the players. They told us, they're coming to us now. It's going to be a lot better for us. It's a much more hitter-friendly environment
also,
there.
It's also, it's a 5-hour bus ride up to Daytona Beach, and that kind of affects the team. But I mean,
and again, and
at least the bus didn't have to get pulled over or get a flat tire or out of gas. Like,
and no offense to the Blairs, but going to play in a minor league ballpark, which I've never been to. Maybe I'll be there this year if the Hammerheads for the Marlins go up there. Right. It's not an easy ballpark to hit in. That's I believe Jackie Robinson Field. Very very pitcher-friendly ballpark just from the look at it, from the angle that we saw. So probably tell yourself, maybe it wasn't a good environment. Again, Bethune-Cookman Stadium or ballpark is undergoing renovations, so that's the reason why they played there. But again, you have Bethune after that. You have Florida Atlantic, FAU, Florida FGC, which is not an easy opponent ever. I believe Middle Tennessee was predicted to either be second or third, Johnny, in the conference, and that's where you begin your conference stretch. So FIU's road to success, or even getting those 35 wins, which would, I believe, be an auto bid into regionals, it's not going to be easy.
That is also how important it is for a team like FIU to start the season collecting as many wins as you can at home. They need to make every home game matter as much as possible, because when you do get to your conference stretch of the season, that's going to be where the majority of road contests are going to be. You're going to be at Western Kentucky, you're going to be at Jacksonville State, you're going to be at New Mexico State, at Liberty, and obviously you have some game and the Iowa series as well to close it out. So being a good team at home is so important, especially in a season that majority of the games are at home. So record-wise, these games matter so much. So I'd like to argue that the two Saturday games for FIU, the first one they won 10-8, second 10-5. I feel like that was the second one in particular, that 10-5 win on February 24th was arguably the best overall game that FIU baseball has played this season. And I know they dropped 20 runs and 19 runs against Long Island, but I mean, when you're comparing Long Island to Notre Dame, a very prestigious school in that regard, I feel like the Saturday games have really shown how great this team can be when everything is clicking. When everything is clicking.
Yeah, and again, I mean, you kind of mentioned it when you mention the best they've looked. Yeah, there we go. What's up, Brian?
Hey, Cosmos, we see you. Best pod in the country. Appreciate it, my man.
Yeah. So what I was saying is, you think about the best overall game. You could make the case it was either this one or even game one. I mean, Joel Pinheiro goes 5 hitless innings, striking out 6, but then you have Kevin Martin, who usually is a pretty good mainstay in the bullpen. Unfortunately, gives up 4 earned off of 3 hits, only strikes out 1. But then you have Orlando Hernandez, who I believe has closer potential, and he definitely showed it that game. He gets his first save of the season, going 2 1/3 innings. He strikes out 3, gives up 1 run off of 3 hits, so walks him as well. So, I mean, the pitching looked good. It could have looked a lot better in terms of what Kevin Martin did, but I mean, it's been a great start for oh, there you go. Miss you guys. Thank you, man. We appreciate it.
We appreciate it, Brian. So,
they've looked good. They've looked good. There's no other way to say
it. They have looked good.
And then you look at – I'm sorry, Jake, but you look at game one, just going back to that.
Yeah.
We need to talk about Logan Rundy. I mean, another great start – or not start. He comes into relief. And I know he gave up 3 earned, but I don't know how –
10 retired batters ain't bad, though.
He strikes out 5. He gives you 4 innings of work, followed by Kabarkis, who was really damn good. He gave up 4. I believe those were rundies, because only 2 of those runs were earned. So again, these games weren't televised, unfortunately, which I think really FIU should prioritize these baseball games sometimes over the team we'll talk about next. But 5 strikeouts for each. I mean, FIU certainly making their case in terms of the pitching, but still long ways to go. They still rank towards the bottom of the conference in ERA. I didn't get the chance to check out strikeouts and the rest of the stats, but I will do that now as you go, Jake.
Yeah, so I feel like the obvious answer as to who has been the MVP of the team so far has to be Brylan, and how he's sort of put himself in the national spotlight for how well he has done hitting the ball and getting on base. His RB, what even is his RBI percentage right now? It's got to be up there. His numbers at the bat are very, very, very impressive, and it's really he himself is putting FIU on the map because of how well he is doing.
He's fifth in the conference in RBIs, tied with Ryan Guida and Noah Raban of Liberty. So Rayhan. So he's in good stuff there.
Would you say that West is the MVP of the team so far?
Quickly on base percentage, it's Brylan. He leads the conference.
Okay.
Batting average, Brylan. OPS, Brylan. Again, you have to look back and say, not really stat pad because there's not much you can do about that. He's playing the game. But Brylan did have a big series against LIU. And as much as I want to say it's been Brylan, really, Ryan Guida has been the mainstay of this team. He's played in all 8 games. I believe Brylan has as well. But it's between Brylan and Ryan for MVP. But Ryan, what he's done is it's extremely impressive. He's coming in the clutch moments and he's really delivering. Brylan had a big, tough moment there against Notre Dame in that final game on Sunday. Couldn't come in the clutch. I know that's happened a couple times against him. Bethune-Cookman, he had a good opportunity. Couldn't do it. He struggled defensively at third, but still, he's been a big piece of this team. But at the end of the day, yeah, Guida has been the MVP. I think Alex Sanchez said it best. A former legend here at FIU.
We have a couple of FIU legends here hovering around us in the comments. We appreciate it. Love you guys. Okay, so it's fair. I will say though, what we have seen from West and Ryan Guida, that they have to make their case for being the best dynamic duo batting wise in the conference so far. Especially because they usually come one after the other. Usually,
and I'm going to say though as well, obviously a slow start, but turned the corner already against Notre Dame. Is watch out for Keyshawn Fred. I think he can be obviously Dallas Baptist has a lot of great power guys, but he's somebody you look at him. I wouldn't be his power is legit. And I think he's an X factor because we talk about Brylan and Guida. And look, Brylan didn't have the best series compared to Long Island, but the big reason why FI was able to propel in the doubleheader sweep was because of Keyshawn Fred. So when you add in a Keyshawn Fred stacked up next to Ryan Guida, that adds another level of the offense because he is somebody that Keyshawn Fred. All of his home runs came to dead center field. He could have had 5 home runs. He nearly had a home run in the Sunday game. It was triple. So this guy is.
If it was a different ballpark, you probably would have gotten it.
Exactly. But I'm just saying that he's a huge X factor because his addition to this team is so impactful just for the amount of power that he brings to his bat.
And again, we could say Brylan struggled, which.
I want to say struggle, just that didn't get.
But look at this. The guy went 10 for 12 in the middle of
in his first 3.
There's not much. You can't see the guy struggled after that. No. I know he was only 1 hit in 4 games, but it was an RBI at the end of the day. The guy still, you're coming off of that big series. He's been playing every single game, so wouldn't shock me if at some point he gets an off day in a game where he DHs a game because. Guida's yet to DH. To play first or play third, which I know that can happen at any moment. But Guides could still play first. So
and also, I would also shout out, guys like Chase Engelhard and Roylan Quevedo who have done great jobs. Alex Tiolola. He is somebody too that he had a multi-hit game on Sunday. Another guy that has power. You add those that are they're hitting the 5-6 still, and that adds more depth to the lineup. So you got to think about Chase Engelhard, Alex Yola, even guys on hot corner. I think Sammy Fisher, the young freshman, had made his debut. Roylan Quevedo, all those guys as well are impactful players. Brendan Rooney, down the line as well. Add more contact and guys that you really love having in this lineup.
It goes back to what we said at the start of the season, Johnny. It's the depth that this team has because we know we had heard good things about Engelhard specifically from people within that program, and they're telling us he's having a good fall, man. He's having a good spring. Good spring.
Yeah.
Keep an eye out, and he had a great series against LIU, and I would have to look back at box scores and all that stuff because I just wasn't able to watch too much of this Notre Dame series, but he must have had a pretty decent series as well. He played in almost every single game. Ulloa has been an absolute great addition to this FIU team. Immediately becomes the best defensive player. Roney still one of the best catchers in Conference USA, I would say, in terms of just defensively. That guy works with pitching staffs very well, and it wouldn't shock me if at some point he is a late round draft pick.
Yeah. This is probably a tough question to ask, Kevin, but if you had any sort of ideas for how the pitching for FIU could potentially improve as they take on Seton Hall and some of these opponents down the road, what are some of the biggest flaws that you've seen from the pitching side, and how can they best redeem that with the players that they have?
Yeah, so I think the biggest thing has just really been not hitting the strike zone enough. Okay. Especially look at Joel, 3 walks. Jackson Ritchie, who's now struggled for back-to-back games. I'm going to have to look back at that box score, but I know he walked at least 3 or 4 guys as well. I mean, they lost 13-4 that one. That was not a good game for FIU, but Ritchie walked 3, struck out 3, gave up 6 earned. So not what you want to see if you're him, but yeah, it's really just hitting the strike zone a little bit more. You know, you've seen good starts already. We've seen Logan Ruddy have a good start. We've seen Owen Puck now. He had a pretty good start in this last one, so you'll get a higher pitch count.
Joel had a good start. 5 no hit innings.
Joel, Cam Knox. I mean, it's not just one guy either. And then the bullpen has had its moments too, where they've looked good. I know Jaden Bishop had a pretty good outing against Notre Dame. You had Zach Lampton. He struggled, but he still had 7 strikeouts. I mean, 2 walks. Walks happen. They're going to happen. And 3 in college baseball, I would say 3 walks is a little too much. But again, guys still are working on their talent. They're still working on their stuff, and you can't blame them. I hope Jackson Ritchie comes back and he has a big start against Seton Hall on Friday. I would assume he's the Friday starter once again, unless they make a different change. But he needs to have a good start to kind of get it going. Jackson Ritchie has some of the highest velos on this team. He's mid to high 90s, along with Owen Puck, who follows him on Saturday. And this time around, there's no doubleheader, so you're kind of glad about that too.
Yeah. I will say it is interesting to have a 4-game series, and every single game is on a different day from Friday to Monday. That's really feel like we don't see that often.
We haven't. I thought the Monday game was a noon game, but it's a 6 p.m. game. So
6 p.m. And not to mention, I believe they host Bethune-Cookman on Tuesday. So technically speaking, it's what
5 games in 5 days.
Yeah.
5 straight days of action for FIU baseball. All of it at the FIU baseball stadium as well. Then they only have to go to Boca Raton.
5 wins, that'd be huge.
That would be huge. And again, like you had alluded to this, but it kind of sucks that Monday is the only game in that Seton Hall series that's televised on ESPN Plus. I really, really wish that at least the Friday and the Sundays.
I want to ask you, Johnny, is Benjamin Cure on the call that Monday?
He actually will be the call on Tuesday.
Okay.
There we go.
Yeah. All right. Hey, he did. I don't know if did he do the Sunday game?
He was supposed to do this for which one? This past Sunday?
Yeah.
No, it was the George Richards of who covers the Mount
the Florida Panthers. Yeah, man. They're letting anyone do these broadcasts now. Will Mansell was there the other day.
Yeah, I saw that for basketball. That was kind of cool to see.
Yeah.
Looking around
it's cool though. I will say it's cool to see these Florida media guys or even news guys do this type of stuff. It's cool. It gives FIU some cool looks, and they get to learn about FIU itself. With I believe it was a Jacksonville State game, which was, despite the loss, it was still a great game.
Still a great game.
Part. Yeah, it was so close matchup. And
that definitely
has a chance at redemption. FIU has a chance at redemption on Saturday, I think. Against
that definitely has to put a big smile on Scott Carr's face, seeing people like Will Mansell hop in just to take a look at what FIU is doing.
Yeah,
exactly. Looking back to the standings in Conference USA right now in baseball, no surprise, Dallas Baptist is leading everybody. They're 8-0. Louisiana Tech is 7-0. They've also had a great start to this season. Sam Houston State is 6-2. Western Kentucky 6-3. FIU and Liberty are both 5-3. Jacksonville State and Middle Tennessee are both 3-5. And New Mexico State is at the bottom of the conference at the moment with a 2-6 record. Looking to the top dogs, Dallas Baptist. Oh, there you go. That's good to see. Dallas Baptist swept Southeast Missouri, SEMO. They dropped 11 runs on Oklahoma. They swept Central
Oklahoma,
Michigan.
The Power 5 school?
Yes, the Sooners. And that's not it. They then dropped 14 runs on Oklahoma State in another midweek. So they'll take on they have a weird schedule coming up for Dallas Baptist. They take on Arizona on Friday, Indiana on Saturday, Alabama on Sunday. So it will be interesting to see how that plays out for them. But I mean, looking generally at how everyone's, I don't think there's really any surprises as to how the preseason polls and so far have racked up. Again, we haven't gotten.
Well.
FIU except for FIU, they say
FIU was 8 out of 9. Middle Tennessee, I believe, was a lot higher in there, as well as and Jack State, kind of right. Liberty, I believe, was 2nd or 3rd. So teams are proving the coach is wrong right now.
Dallas Baptist, I think you mentioned they're nationally ranked, right? Dallas Baptist?
They're 25, yeah.
25.
So FIU, I don't know how much Seton Hall will help the RPI there, but Seton Hall's not a bad team by any means, but it should get them close. Maybe you beat Bethune and you take at least 2 out of 3 against FAU. Should have a decent chance there. Johnny, you're my guy for this type of stuff. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, you never know. It just, I guess, depends on well, I definitely Dallas Baptist was a top 25 team coming into this year on the fringe. So I think for FIU, yeah, I think if they are able to take series and win games and sweeps, then you can make that, that idea. But yeah, I think right now I think the team just wants to prove a lot of the worth. And I guess the rankings are cool, but I think they have bigger things to aspire. But I think you never know with how things play out. But
yeah,
I think
right now, and I think we could say this all, Johnny and Jake, their goal right now is to win 35 games. And not only to win the conference championship, because that's the big goal right there. That's the biggest one. But winning 35 games, we may see them play at Mark Light Field a couple days in the regionals. So that would be pretty cool
as well. This team has yet to go to a conference tournament in a while. Last time was 2018. That was the last time they went to a conference tournament. So that is something that you want to achieve, because 5-6 years not going to the conference is kind of crazy. But I think this team has proven it. They're essentially, maybe I think a shoo-in to make the conference tournament. But right now, see what you can do in non-conference play. I think it's another opportunity at home against Seton Hall. But I'm excited to see.
You still have Marist, Dallas Baptist, obviously, which is a conference matchup, which that'll be a fun game. I don't know when they come to FIU. I'm going to check out that.
That's in late April. I just checked. It's in late April. And yeah, like you mentioned, thankfully, we're taking on the best team in the conference at home. I feel like that has to help us.
April 26th, 27th, 28th. That's when the school year ends, right, Johnny?
Still, we need everyone to be there, man. That is a ginormous series for FIU. They need all the fan support they can get there. So
yeah, that's huge. But then you're kind of hoping FIU by then has their fate decided, because the end is not good. It's Sam Houston, which is a really good baseball program. University of Miami is never a joke, and then you have the number 20th ranked Iowa. So
yeah,
again, not easy. They're not going to play at the Iowa State. I believe they're playing somewhere else because it's under renovations. But still, Iowa is a very good baseball team. Actually, funny enough, Seton Hall took on Iowa in the first game, and they lost 5-3. Seton Hall did not beat them. So,
and again, it is worth noting that last season FIU has a 5-3 record to begin the season. Last season they had a 3-5 record. So, and that included 3 straight losses to Missouri before they went again. But again, if you want to compare this season to last season, they're already doing a couple of games better than how they did last year. And like we had talked about in the beginning, you really have to get these home wins while you can before you have to get on the road and take on the rest of the conference. And even heading to Boca Raton in March should be a fun one. I believe I know you guys will be getting on the road for that, right? The March 8th and March 10th, they're in Boca Raton.
Yep.
Yeah, we should be there.
Okay. All right. So, by the way, Johnny, obviously you've been covering the team so far as SID. You've talked to the coach. You've seen the dugouts and the sort of excitement and energy that they have whenever someone hits a home run. They have a couple of great sellies for whenever someone like Ryan goes yard. So what is the energy so far with this group of players been like compared to what you saw, not as an SID, but just as a fan last year?
Yeah, I mean, also I think Kevin agree as well, because we've been out, to the ballpark, before games. This is a really, really close bunch. This team is all for each other, very, very positive. All the guys are, want make sure everyone's, cheering each other on, good energy, and that's what something Coach Wooden emphasized and told me, in the off season, is how much this group is close and how much they want to see each other succeed, because that's something that that's how you build, championship like cultures and teams is making sure to have a presence of what you want your team to be. And Coach Wooden talked about it, how these guys are all for each other. They want the best. They each want to bring out the best in each other. And that's shown on the field. The product's there with how well they've been playing, 5 wins to their first 8 games. But yeah, I mean, you want to keep that mindset going. I think this team is bought in with what Coach Wooden's trying to build here at FIU, and I'm excited to see what goes on. But so far, it's been a really, really good positive mindset in the clubhouse.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. I mean,
So,
it's a very
gentlemen, any final thoughts about what we can expect as FIU takes on Seton Hall specifically? As Kevin, you alluded to Seton Hall being a really good program in baseball, and FIU took on Seton Hall, I believe, last year as well in a 4-game series. So should be a fun one there. Again, 5-3 record for FIU baseball. They're taking on Seton Hall this weekend, starting on Friday, March 1st at 6:30 p.m. And there's no Saturday doubleheader. There's a game on Saturday at 5 p.m., a game on Sunday at noon, and then a Monday game at 6 p.m. That's the one game in the series that'll be televised on ESPN Plus. So then they'll host Bethune-Cookman, maybe try to get some revenge there, maybe drop a 20 bomb on them just for some revenge on Tuesday at 6 p.m.
We should predict. We should do our predictions for Seton Hall right now.
Okay.
Go ahead, Jake.
All right, I'll start us off. You know what? I feel positive. That especially coming off the fact that they know that they can get success against high-quality baseball programs. Again, you just found that with Notre Dame in that Saturday series. I think they'll take 3. I don't think they're going to win all 4, but I feel like I can see them winning Friday and Monday, and then they'll take either Saturday or Sunday, and Seton Hall will steal one on Saturday or Sunday. But I'll say they win 3.
Go for it, Johnny. Oh wait,
I need the broom.
Who's your MVP of the series?
Oh,
God!
We'll get the broom out, so you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's sweet. MVP. Oh, you need your MVP, Jake?
Go first. Jake.
Yeah. I quickly let me. The obvious choices are West and Guida, so I'm going to go left field and say Engelhard has himself a monster series against Seton Hall. The bat will be clicking for Engelhard, and he'll bring in a lot of runs.
I have a feeling John is going to take my MVP, but go ahead.
No, I'm going to say I like a little left field. I'm going to say Jeff LaCorey. Really
not bad. Yeah, I like that.
Jeff LaCorey and a sweep.
Yeah, all right. I will say FIU takes 3 out of 4. Feel like there's going to be that one game that just doesn't go their way, and I don't know why I feel like it's Sunday, but well, actually, no, they may actually sweep because they don't have to go a doubleheader on Saturday. Actually, I will say FIU will sweep, and I'm going to go with Alex Uyola.
But we just talked about their best baseball coming in a doubleheader.
I like that. I like how we're going opposite of
I love Brylan. I love Ryan. They know
they're gonna do their thing.
Yeah, exactly. But we got to go a little left field here. I'm going to Uyola. He had a great series against LIU. Real good stuff against Bethune-Cookman and as well Notre Dame. So yeah, let's go into news break, Mr. Jake.
Yeah, let's take a quick break then. It is the news break. Your source for all things FIU athletics and just FIU in general. So let's get right into it. Let's start off in the National Football League. As former FIU tight end Jonnu Smith has been recently released by the Atlanta Falcons. Smith, who originally played for the Tennessee Titans and New England Patriots, spent last season with Atlanta and had a very solid campaign, racking up 582 yards and 3 touchdowns in 17 games of work. Jonnu, who joined FIU in 2013, spent all 4 seasons with the Panthers as a college student, will likely be signed by another team this offseason who could use some depth at the tight end position. I for one, would not be mad if the Dolphins of Miami took a look at Jonnu because why not? Let's stick with football. As it was reported yesterday that Kenichi Udeza has joined the FIU coaching staff as their outside linebacker and defensive ends coach. Udeza himself was a defensive end from USC who played 3 seasons with the Minnesota Vikings from 2004 to 2007 before having his career cut short due to a long battle with leukemia, which he ended up beating. He has since been a coach for many NFL and college teams, most recently as the pass rush specialist for the University of Houston, the Cougars. So welcome to the 305, Kenichi. Finally, not that long ago, FIU was announced as one of the top 5 U.S. doctoral institutions that produced the most Fulbright U.S. scholars last year, according to the U.S. Department of State's Bureau of Educational and Cultural Affairs. The Fulbright program is the U.S. government's competitive flagship international education exchange program, which, among other things, awards exchanges for U.S. students to study or speak or teach English abroad and visiting international students to the U.S. This past year, 7 scholars from FIU received some form of Fulbright grants for what they accomplished. So congratulations to them. And that was your news break. So, Johnny, is there a new painting behind you?
It's been up there the whole time.
It's the same painting that's always been here.
I just
My grandfather made that painting, by the way.
Is that right?
Yeah,
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I don't know. Just for some reason, your setup looks different, Johnny. Maybe it's the hat that's throwing me off.
yeah, it throws me off. I'm not a hat guy, but I had.
Yeah, I know it's
I had to rock this
rare to
hat.
see
It's
you
a
in a
great
hat.
I'll take the hat. I'm joking. All right, go ahead, Jake.
All right, well, let's talk a bit about FIU men's basketball because the season is winding down. They only have 3 regular season games remaining before the Conference USA tournament that begins on March the 12th. The FIU men's basketball currently has a 9-19 record on the season. They're 4-9 in the conference. They are 8-6 at home and 1-10 in on the road. They did manage to beat the Liberty Flames in a very exciting game. That was a very entertaining game against Liberty back on February 22nd. However, they dropped a nail biter to Jacksonville State this past Saturday, which sucked because, again, that was another very exciting game. But they gave up a lead late to the Gamecocks. Now this Saturday they're going to take on Western Kentucky, the Hilltoppers at 6 p.m. That's going to be on ESPN Plus. But again, it's going to be the last home game of the season. So if you're not doing anything that day, we implore you to go to the Ocean Bank Convocation Center to support the Panthers.
You'll be there, Jake.
I will be there. If you want to say hey, don't be afraid.
We're doing double coverage actually that day.
Double coverage because there's baseball at the ballpark and basketball at the bank. So should be a fun Saturday for FIU athletics. But yeah,
They're planning on
that's going to be the last home game.
Are planning on coming over to baseball after basketball?
Well, baseball starts at 5 and basketball starts at 6. So
I mean, you never know. Or maybe actually you'll come before then to baseball.
oh yeah, just spend some time at the ballpark, then make our way to the basketball arena. It's not a bad idea.
Just for planning purposes for you folks that must care so much, Jake will be on basketball Saturday, and I will be on baseball. So, Jake.
Are you going to be on the call, Kevin?
I don't know. I don't know what days our boy Carlton's going to do. I think he did say Saturday may be the day, but again, there's basketball that day, so I'm not sure what he's going to choose.
Look, he's going to be stellar either sporty picks. So you know what?
That's true.
That's true. After the Western Kentucky game, FIU basketball will head on the road for the last 2 games of the season. They'll take on UTEP on March 7th and then New Mexico State on March 9th. Then, as I mentioned, on March 12th to the 16th, the Conference USA Basketball Championships. I don't entirely know bracket-wise if FIU will even be in this. But
yeah, every team makes it. Every team
makes it. Okay. So, regardless, they would be one of the bottom seeds of the conference.
They would likely take on La Tech. So that should tell, just like last year.
Yeah, that's right. Just like.
And last year, FIU was the lower seed, and they almost beat them. But again, this is a different team, man. I mean, they've gone through so many injuries. Jonathan Abar out for the year. Deshaun Giddens out for the year. It's really, Javante Hawkins is struggling now. It's been a tough season for this Panthers team, and a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes, which I won't share because that's personal to these guys. But it's been a tough year for this FIU team, and there's not much more to say. Great win against Liberty, tough loss against New Mexico State. You hope you could go out and get that 10th win, but right now they're 9-19 and 4-9 in the conference, which again not good. And you look back at last
place in the conference, by the way. They actually. So they're tied with UTEP 4-9 in the conference. However, overall record UTEP is 13-15. So,
and just to continue, 14-18 last year was the record. 8-12 in the conference. FIU is not going to have a better record than
they're not. No, they're not.
They're not going to have a better conference record. So I don't know, man. I mean, I'm not going to say it. I think we had this conversation last year, Jake. We may have it in a couple of weeks again, but I'm not going to say it. But all I'm saying is the tenure of who I am talking about has gone from sky high, getting to the conference tournament at a pretty high seed, and it's just gone down ever since. But yeah, I mean, it's not entirely his fault. It's not, it's not Ballard's fault either entirely. He's gone through a lot too. Mohamed Sanogo is no longer with the team. He hasn't played. Jonathan Abar again out for the year. You've had to really test your depth, and the depth either just hasn't been ready, or what they're doing right now just isn't working. And there's just no other true way to put it. They've been in a lot of games. The non-con schedule, I don't know how much that may have hurt them, because they played some really good teams, man. FAU, that's gonna be a yearly thing. Miami, honestly, that may be a yearly thing as well. So we'll see. I don't know how much of a confidence hit that was to them, that non-con schedule, especially the tournament at the Caymans. They played not very well either. So they're still, I haven't even checked the Conference USA stats in a while, which I will do. But right now, I'm fairly certain they rank last still in rebounds per game, and turnovers. They still give up the most. They may still give up the most 3-pointers. So I'm going to check that really quick right now. As this,
in the meantime,
yeah, go for it.
We don't want to just spend all this time hammering the men's basketball team again. They've had a rough season. But they have had some ups to this season so far. Arturo Dean, right? He has been the face of this team this whole season. He is the team leader in points, rebounds, assists, and steals, which is absolutely insane. Arturo Dean's ability to steal the ball has rendered him national spotlight for how good he's been at doing. He averages 3.4 steals per game, which is absolutely insane. And again, he's a very reliable scorer for this team as well. Aside from Dean, you have Hawkins, who also has had a great campaign this season for FIU, 12.5 points per game. That's very good. Aside from that, we had something that we've talked about in previews and we've talked about at the games is the size for FIU and how they took a hit when Abar went down with that injury. You have Seth Pinckney, who leads the team in blocks per game, but
he's done pretty good this year too. Yeah.
No, he's done good, but you take away Pinckney, and this team doesn't have a whole lot of size to work with, and that is unfortunately put them in bad situations against a lot of Conference USA opponents that happen to have great size. You have teams like Louisiana Tech and Liberty in Western Kentucky. They specialize in that, and FIU's just been left to dry, man. There have been a few games this season where it came down to the wire. That home game against Middle Tennessee back in February 10th, 68-66. That was a winnable game.
I think it comes down to saying there were a lot of winnable games.
Utah Tech was a winnable game.
In the clutch, just didn't happen. But anyways, we got to get Johnny's sake out here. He seems a little distracted on his laptop right now.
I'm just looking for the weekend right now for baseball. I'm just looking at some other.
You're on the Paws Up podcast, brother. What are your thoughts on FIU men's basketball? What's the PR response you got to give us here?
I mean, honestly, it's been I've been a little more busy focusing on the other sports that I have duties assigned to, so I haven't been able to follow closely. But I think obviously, we're ending towards the end of the season. Senior day this Saturday, and then you close out with a couple of games on the road next week. Obviously we talked about how tough of a year it's been, just from the standpoint of the injuries, and obviously Javante Hawkins is having an unbelievable year, kind of having a send-off year, and hopefully he can continue to strong. But for the Panthers, I think just trying to keep fighting. They know that there's a lot of adversity with this team, but you have guys, you have pieces. You have seen glimpses of how they can play, but I just think that just keep fighting through and trying to get some momentum going into the conference tournament, because essentially, if they're able to get if they're able to sweep heading to the conference tournament, they can be able to move themselves to the standings. So they still have a lot to play for, just for the seeding perspective in the conference tournament. So just keep fighting.
And that's the thing too, because when you go into the conference tournament,
it's a reset.
Everyone is 0-0.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. FIU almost beat La Tech last season in the conference tournament, if I remember. I think it was
overtime. It was overtime game.
In overtime as well. So FIU has one big game, and they take out the top seed, La Tech. I mean, I know it wasn't a good game for FIU last time they took on La Tech, but you look at it, They only lost by what, not 6 or 9
7.
the last time, and at Louisiana Tech. So
It was a 75-68 loss. That's not
exactly.
terrible.
So not terrible either. I mean, right now, who's the second seed in the conference? Is it Liberty? It's either Liberty or Western. I'll let you take a look at that, but I mean, you'd much rather prefer to take on one of those teams. Preferably, I mean, Liberty. If you could even get, I believe Liberty is the 3rd seed, Western's the 2nd. But I'll let you confirm that.
I'm pulling it up right now. There we go. So it's Louisiana Tech. So the Louisiana Tech and Sam Houston State both have 10-3 records. Louisiana Tech has a better overall record
in this case. Yeah,
overall record. Louisiana Tech leads 20-8. Sam Houston State is 2nd. Western Kentucky 3rd. Jacksonville State 4th. Middle Tennessee 5th. Liberty is in the 6th. They're in the 6th spot. New Mexico State is at 7. UTEP is at 8, and FIU is in the bottom of the conference.
So right now, FIU takes on who? Sam Houston.
Would they take on the 1st or 2nd seed?
Is there a bye for the 1st seed, Johnny?
Yes, there is. Mm-hmm.
So they'll take on Louisiana Tech. God, because FIU did beat Sam Houston this year. I think both home and away.
Yeah, so let me look at the bracket real quick. So the first round
takes on the worst seed.
Okay, wait. So the first round, if I'm reading this correctly, the 9 seed takes on the 8th seed in the first round of the bracket in
so essentially a play-in tournament.
Pretty much, yeah. It's like the play-in tournament. So if that's the case, then FIU would take on UTEP, and unless UTEP wins out and New Mexico State loses out, then it's either New Mexico State or UTEP, likely UTEP, that they would take on in the first round of what is essentially the play-in. Then the winner of that game takes on the 1 seed. So if FIU beats UTEP, they would take on Louisiana Tech.
No, Sam Houston, the number 1 seed.
No. Louisiana Tech is the 1 seed. Sam Houston.
Oh, they are. Okay. Then
yeah, Sam Houston is the 2 seed. Louisiana Tech's the 1 seed. So
I mean,
we have a question from our friends at the Ohio podcast. What's up, my sunny South Florida friends? You guys gonna make it to the big dance? No. Unless we pull up
if somehow they beat Louisiana Tech, FIU is going.
If they run the table and win the Conference USA tournament, then they're obligated to be in. So
yeah, we'll see.
Putting on my realistic hat for a second, yeah, it's not looking very good for FIU. So some people may be confused, by the way.
That's the thing too. And I was talking to Darren, who we had on the podcast not too long ago, and he told us, I think that when FIU did make the March Madness, FIU was 9-19. So I'll have to look back and confirm that, but they won the Conference USA tournament. I mean, anyone could win it. Look at, even in baseball, the Diamondbacks were the worst team, technically, by standings to make the playoffs, and they made the World Series. So anything could happen. The Miami Heat were the 8th seed not too long ago, and they made it all the way to the NBA Finals. So I guess FIU maybe has a chance. I think
I'm also going to win the lottery tomorrow, which is going to be awesome.
I hope.
Hey,
shout out to women's basketball. They're having a great season. They will definitely be making the Conference USA tournament as the number 2 seed. But right now their Achilles heel is Middle Tennessee State.
Yeah.
And Western, or blowout losses.
So you guys might be wondering, what's a podcast that covers the Ohio State University doing, saying things like, if you win the conference tourney, I want to see you guys make some dancing videos, which obviously we will. But we're not allowed to say why he's in our chat, with the exception of this. Something big is on the horizon. Something that will change college podcasts forever. So grab your popcorn, grab your beverage of choice, and get ready, because the Paws Up podcast and several of our closest friends are changing the game forever.
No.
How was that?
You tried.
I tried. But more info on that in April. All right, that's going to be fun. What we have been invited to do with
That's very
bunch
cool.
of pods,
Yeah,
including the
100%.
Ohio State.
We have a lot coming up actually on our
A
end.
lot coming up. There's a lot on the table. So you had mentioned women's basketball, by the way. They are a team that the rest of the conference better watch out for in the tournament as well. In the conference.
Well,
USA.
unfortunately, they did lose, I believe, Maria Torres.
Yeah, out for the
year.
season.
But they still have Prager. They still have Kalia Henderson. Still have a pretty good team, but yeah, they've been a little hampered by injuries and kind of struggled these last couple of weeks. But still, they're going to be in the conference tournament. They're going to be one of the top seeds, and maybe they can dance in March Madness.
That would be fun. That would be fun.
We will not dance if they make it because I do think they have a good chance of doing it.
Yes, absolutely. We're gonna have to dance to that.
We're not dancing if they make it.
What, Kevin? Everyone wants to see you hit the gritty, bro.
My gritty's all right.
All right, okay. Before we wrap up with men's basketball, who's the MVP so far this season? Let's all say it. You at the same time. 3, 2, 1. It's Arturo Dean.
Javante Hawkins.
Arturo Dean.
You said Hawkins just to be different. Granted, Hawkins has had an amazing season.
No, I'm not. I mean, you look at Arturo. A lot of props to Arturo. He's had a great year, but he's been targeted offensively many times. He's still putting up very high foul numbers. I mean, the steals aren't as much as they were before. He's been good, but I think Javante's been the more clutch player this season for FIU.
He did have
Although
that
they've been a great backcourt duo, nonetheless.
That has been a great duo, and hopefully
this
is something that we can see them build upon. But
we'll see. Deshaun was I actually didn't know, but Deshaun was just a sophomore this past year, so
yeah,
he's gonna get a good chance. And then when they play Travis Gray, he's getting redshirted. This team could be pretty good.
Obviously, Arturo is a sophomore, so hopefully we get to see more of him.
Hopefully,
the Panthers uniform.
Hopefully,
Hawkins is a senior, so this might be it for him.
This is it for Hawkins. I think he's out of eligibility, but when it comes to Dean, we'll see if he stays. We'll see if Deshaun, I would assume, stays. He would have a bigger role, but Arturo, I mean,
with the transfer portal, obviously you never know, but hopefully, Arturo can become the man for FIU men's basketball because he already had an amazing freshman season. I have no doubt he's going to win some Conference USA awards this season for what he's been able to do for this team. Pretty much, at some moments, put the team on his back.
Yeah,
especially with how great he has been on defense with again his steals and his national spotlight there.
I think we'll wrap up here, huh?
Before we do that, actually, I did want to go over a quick FIU athletics roundup because there are a few other sports going on right now in the spring semester, which I believe has just begun, right? Technically, it's just begun the spring semester, or we're like maybe a bit into it,
it's
obviously.
Spring break right now, actually.
Yeah.
Spring break.
So women's basketball, they have an 18-9 record. Just want to point out who they play next. They're on the road in Bowling Green, taking on the Hilltoppers this Saturday at 2 p.m. They'll finish their last 2 regular season games at home against UTEP and New Mexico State on Thursday, March the 7th, and Saturday, March the 9th. So definitely go and support them because they have a really good chance of running the table in the Conference USA tournament. So looking at softball, we had alluded to softball. I believe we had alluded to softball earlier when we were talking about baseball, but if not, again, they have an 8-9 record right now. They're 6-5 at home, 0-2 on the road. They're coming off a pair of wins in their Dugout Club Classic against Charleston Southern. They are they're hosting the FIU Classic. I love the amount of tournaments that FIU softball gets to host, by the way. I think it's actually really cool. They're taking on a few opponents in the FIU Classic. You got UIC on Friday, March the 1st, Seton Hall in the afternoon at 5:30. The UIC game is at 12:30. You have North Dakota in Saturday, March the 2nd for them, and then they'll begin their Conference USA stretch of the schedule on Friday, March the 8th, as they host the Liberty Flames. So there is your look at softball real quick. And beach volleyball, also another spring sport that I didn't want to highlight. They're actually, once again, beach volleyball, another fantastic group of athletes that we have here at FIU. They are 5-0 right now. They were invited out to the Jacksonville Invitational. They took on Coastal Carolina, North Florida, the University of Tennessee at Chattanooga, Palm Beach Atlantic, and Jacksonville, and they smoked all of them. They have a 5-0 record, they are finally going to be able to play some matches at home in their own FIU Invitational when they take on Barry and Emmanuel University on Friday, March the 1st at 10:45 a.m. at 1 p.m. Then they'll take on Palm Beach and Barry University again on Saturday, March the 2nd. So now we're all caught up on spring athletics for FIU. And I know that football, obviously, it's never a bad time to talk a bit about football, but you have your spring practices as well as your spring game right around the corner. Is that right, Kevin?
Yeah, spring practice. The first one, I believe, is on the 12th. So make sure to go out to those. All of those begin at 7 a.m. Jake and I should be there for not all of them, but a decent amount. And obviously, we'll be there for the spring game. So that should all be fun. Or spring showcase, I'll say. I don't think it's really a game, but
it used to be a game. Now it's like sort of just drills for each position specifically. But it's a lot of fun. I know they want to bring in some former FIU football players to that. Just hang around and just have a good time. Obviously, I believe it's free for fans and to just go and check out the stadium, have a fun time, and get hype because before you know it, college football is going to be back, and we're going to be providing bigger and better coverage for when they kick off.
Oklahoma, baby.
Indiana.
No, is it not Oklahoma? It's Indiana.
Indiana, the Hoosiers. That's going to be.
I got confused with the logos. Damn it.
They're very similar logos. So you have the IU and then the OU. They're both red. They're interlocking.
Anyways, let's
So, fellas. Oh, by the way, again, Johnny, when is when is the swimming and diving team competing for a natty?
That would be. Oh yeah, I have it up right here. Sorry, I'm a little bit.
You do.
Let me confirm. So, let me give you the upcoming schedule. You know what? So they have diving zones from 11th to the 13th, and they have the NICs from 14th to 16th. The 20th to the 23rd of March will be the NCAA championships, and we'll find out who qualifies for that from the swimming side next week. And we'll expect Christy Chewy. And if so, it'll be FIU will have now 13 consecutive years with a swimming or diver heading to the NCAA championships, which would be the longest active streak among mid-major programs. So
and then you have the Olympics over in France.
Yeah,
I think,
and we have a couple of Panthers that are preparing for that. But that'll be exciting to be able to showcase that. And once that comes and trials are through and they're all ready, that'll be really, really fun to see them up.
I heard Johnny's going to France.
I'm going to Paris. Yeah,
you're going to Paris for the Olympics? Is that right?
Wait, are you actually?
No, I'm not.
I was about to say, wait, what?
If I did, that would be an unbelievable opportunity. Going to Paris.
UM versus FIU. Though.
Technically, I have a lot of. We do have a lot of time this summer, so I mean, it's open on the table if anyone wants to offer to take me up to Paris. But
all right, let's wrap it up now, Jake.
Yeah.
Kevin, you're going to be at the game on Friday, right? Seton Hall. You're going to be there the whole weekend, right?
I'll be at all 4 games, including Monday. Well, you'll be at basketball, so Paws Up Podcast. I think that's the place to be. As always, I don't think we promoted enough, but the Paws Up page, recaps, previews, features. These live stream links are on there, so please make sure to check that out. I'm almost begging you.
Almost, but we don't want to be actually begging, right? But we'll be back next week with another episode. Maybe a really cool guest on the will be joining us. We shall see. I mean, speculation wise, I mean, there a lot has happened. A lot of players and personalities we could get on the show. We'll let you guys know with one of those fire trailers that we've been releasing for these episodes. And again, maybe we didn't get to say this enough in our 50th episode, but man, we have now hit over 50 episodes of the Paws Up Podcast, gentlemen. That is one hell of an achievement that I'm proud of, and I know we are all proud of. And now all that's left to do is continue the road to 100. Right, the road to 100 is now we're halfway there, living on a prayer, and hopefully we can do it by the end of the year. Maybe not if we continue these 3-week breaks that we did after episode 50, but rest assured, things are only going to get bigger. They're going to get better for the Paws Up Podcast this year for FIU athletics coverage. So we'll be back next week. I'm Jay Gibson, alongside Kevin Barral, Jonathan Mayer, saying so long. Have a great rest of the night. And paws up.
Paws up, baby. Let's go.